Let's quickly check in on the macro outlook for the economy, and we've got Mr. Arun Singh, who's senior economist at Dun & Bradstreet, joining us on the show. Arun, to begin with, there's a lot of talk about growth levels having come off quite significantly, and inflation having risen or continuing to hold up at levels that the central bank is uncomfortable with. Would you say it's high time we faced up to the fact that we are in a stagflationary phase?
First of all, thank you for me having on this show. It's definitely not actually. I understand there's overall economy slowing down and inflation is a high time. At the same time, we should also understand some of the concerns which we are facing globally. The international investor sentiments is deteriorating on the back of overall global economic slowdown and the Eurozone crisis. That has taken a major toll on the overall health of the economy back home. Definitely there are some concerns coming up and for RBI and the central bank have raised these issues on multiple forums, and they are doing their best to solve this crisis. But I'm totally not agree with the stagflation at this point of time. We're going ahead. We expect the inflationary pressures to subside and the overall economy to improve once the Eurozone crisis comes to a normal or stabilize in a near future.
And you say you expect inflationary pressures to subside. How and when?
Definitely, I think in a couple of quarters one can see the inflationary pressures come down. Now RBI have increased interest rate in the past time period, and our interest rate is continuously high. Overall growth is moderating, and then there's significantly policy measures announced to solve the supply side bottlenecks by the government. All the factors cumulatively is going to help overall inflationary pressure come down. Internationally, global crude oil prices also moderated, which was the major concerns in a couple of weeks back. So that will definitely going to provide some support to the overall health, overall inflationary pressure going ahead.
Right, but Arun, it's this argument is somewhere a little theoretical, you'd agree, because we all believe that the government needs to address supply side bottlenecks. I think most of us are agreed that it's not going to happen anytime soon. There's been no traction from the government. Again, while we can argue that commodity prices are coming off, the rupee continues to remain weak. And again, if we go back to the language of the US Federal Reserve's statement yesterday, it does seem to indicate that if QE didn't happen last night, it's coming somewhere. It's somewhere around the corner, that it could happen when the situation in the US possibly deteriorates, or the situation in Europe possibly deteriorates. When we get to that point, aren't we talking about commodity price inflation once again, sort of hitting us, and inflation continuing to remain under pressure?
Definitely, the inflationary pressure is the hot debate nowadays, and it's a serious concern for overall health of the economy. This is precisely the reason RBI maintained this, the pause on the rate front. And see, one should understand there is a very significant relationship between the inflationary pressure and the overall health of the economy. In Indian space, the critical inflation rate should be the 5.5% for India to grow at a steady pace. Now RBI is critically targeting that rate. The 5.5% has to be achieved. Now this is precisely the point that RBI have not cut the interest rate at this point of time. Yeah, I understand there are some policy bottlenecks which we have seen, and there are some sort of supply side bottlenecks, but the things likely to be improved in a couple of quarters going forward, as government have already announced certain measures to solve the supply side bottlenecks. Coming back to international investors, the risk aversion have gone up, and then consequently our inflow to Indian market have declined. That have taken toll on the Indian rupee. Going ahead, once the European crisis solves, I think that's what we have seen in the declaration from the G20 summit, that they are serious about solving the European zone crisis, and seems that definitely they'll reach to some concessions going forward.
Okay, Arun, we'll leave it at that. Thanks very much. I'm afraid we're completely running out of time right here on the show. Thanks very much for joining in with that perspective. But all eyes on the telecom space, where the